We may be in for a fight.
He's everything. I will be your downfall.
Mather favors me. Open this and release me. I'm Nest of the Ulfra clan, and that's my real name. I'm nothing like that nameless fool Bromar. I'll admit, getting caught was my mistake, but his men had the numbers. Bromar might be an oaf, but I can't deny he's got some talent for banditry. That woman thinks only about business, doesn't she? Can't say I blame her. In times like these, everyone has to look after their own skin. They took everything I had, but I managed to hide Orla's package before they caught me. You can dig it up and take it to her. She'll pay you, and we'll be even. Consider it my thanks for freeing me. Ah, I see you don't know much about the Dalriata. No surprise there. Our elders keep us in the mountains, and the world seems to be forgetting about us. In the Dalriata, you have to earn your name. You choose a father, go through the trials, all of it. You need to prove yourself worthy of your clan. If you fail, you're not worthy of carrying a name. You get exiled. So, Bromar can call himself whatever he wants, but to me, he's a nobody. How should I know what rattles around in that empty skull of his? Maybe he liked what he saw, and thought he could take me for himself. Not that he got very far. Dalriata women decide for themselves who they lie with. You can't take us by force. We bite. Literally. He probably thought if he kept me here long enough, I'd soften up. He's in for a rude awakening, because I'd sooner bite through my own wrists than fall for his posturing. Finally, someone with some sense in this den of idiots. Thanks. I'll heal up and head back to my people. You didn't happen to kill that big oaf hanging around outside, did ya? Bromar no face. Suits him, with that ugly mug of his. Well, honor demands I kill the bastard, but I'll tend to my wounds first. Thanks for freeing me. You're alright, for a non-reata.
That's the best news I've heard all week. Come on then, give it to me. Not really. We were never friends, just reluctant business partners. Her problems are hers alone, just like mine are mine. As long as they don't affect our mutual interests. Besides, it's a dangerous business. I know you can't always avoid the risks. Now that I think about it, since you managed to bring that package and Ness decided to ditch me, you might as well help with the next part of the job. My client, you know who, wants the package delivered to a specific place. Once you're there, you'll use these very special arrows I'm about to give you, and shoot the package from a safe distance. Regular arrows won't do the trick, and if you waste them before the job's done, I'll charge you for the next batch. These aren't gifts, they're tools. Oh, come on. What do you think happens when you shoot flaming arrows at a mysterious package? Think for a second. Anyway, whatever opens up in front of you, check it out, and then tell me all about it. If I were you, I wouldn't touch anything. But if something catches your eye, well, maybe nobody will notice. Just make sure to open the passage. Am I some kind of seer? I have no idea. The captain's my client, not my friend. But if the rumors about him cozying up to the Dalriada tribes are true, you might stumble upon something related to them. Maybe some long-lost artifacts. I haven't got a clue. Personally, I think the captain's just trying to suck up to them. That would be very much like him. What does he care? He pays me to get the job done. How I get it done and whose hands do the work, that's my business.
Sir, I haven't seen you before. I wasn't expecting any guests, and you don't look like a new recruit. And yet, Odrin let you in. He's not drinking again, I hope. Huh, that's surprising. But good. Very good. He's been a drunk for as long as I can remember. Keeps saying he'll stop, but he never does. At least not for long.
The name's Fergus, and I assume you already know I'm the quartermaster here. Now state your business.
And please, try to be convincing, or the walls of this fortress will be the last thing you'll ever see. Yes, I know. And that's why you're still standing in front of me. However, these pens were only given to certain people. They mean that in times of trouble, these people will always find a safe haven here in the Horns.
And that makes me wonder, what happened to your friend? Where is he? If what you're saying is true, he must have had a deal with somebody well above my pay grade, and that leaves only the captain.
However, if you're lying, then you might as well have just confessed to the murder of a Knight of the Round Table. But nobody's that much of a fool, I think. Fortunately for you, I've seen my fair share of morons in life, and you don't look like one. Fortunately for me, this pen only means that I'm to make sure you're safe in the Horns. Nothing about helping you out with whatever you're up to.
Anyway, welcome to the Horns of the South. Make yourself at home.
We've been having trouble with the dead lately. The kind that don't want to rest in peace. There are more and more of them roaming the area. It might just be the weirdness, as it has been steadily creeping closer from the north, but somehow I doubt it.
Anyway, I suggest you go see Marg first. He knows best what's going on there. You're not wasting time, eh?
Good. Try not to get yourself killed, and get rid of whatever's been causing the problem. Yes? Did you find out what's been happening out there? Great. A necromancer. Just what we needed. It wasn't the Dark Druid from the legends, was it?
Good thing you got rid of him then. We already have the Dalriada almost on our doorstep. We don't need an army of the undead to boot.
You did well. Maybe it's not so bad having you here.
Ninian. I knew the Red Death would take him. Damn shame. He was one of the good ones. You did right bringing this back. The Horns look after their own, even after they're gone. But, now that I think of it, how did you manage to get hold of his tag? Tortured? In the asylum? You can't expect me to take that at face value. Brother Riagan said Ninian was too weak to survive the journey. They came for him, and we even held a symbolic keeper's burial for him. And what were you doing in the island asylum? You look fine, but if you were there, near him... I honestly think your sense of humor is the worst, but I have to respect your unwillingness to share your story. Still, you have to understand, now that you've told me this, I'll be keeping a close eye on you. No risks can be taken when it comes to the Red Death.
That's one of our tags. Every soldier gets one when they pledge their loyalty. I just hope the body you took it from was already cold, because killing a keeper would land you in some serious trouble.
You know, here's what I'm thinking. If you stumble over any of our fallen keepers out there, bring me their tags. Sure, they all swore to stay here until the bitter end, but they have families who deserve to know what became of them.
It's part of my duty, but since I can't send any more beyond these walls, maybe you could lend a hand. I'll pay you for every tag you bring back. You know where to find me if you come across any more. That's between her and the captain. Were it up to me, she'd be long gone. Her presence here distracts my men. He's not our first line of defense. The archers are. Every man here needs to have a job. And no offense to Odrin, but let's just say we can afford to lose him. I'm sure the hordes of visitors clamoring at our gates can survive the insult. Fine then. This is the keep. Anyone sworn in as a keeper lives here, unless they're no longer fit for service. If that happens, they get transferred to the village. Otherwise, they're not allowed to go there without my express permission. So if you ever see any of my boys down there looking shifty, feel free to report them.
You're allowed to walk around the keep and the village, but if anyone catches you stealing, I'll take your hands. If you attack any of my men, I'll take your head. That enough for you?
It used to belong to the keep. You could say it was its beating heart. That village was where our lighthouses led the ships, and where the workers lived with their families. Ah, those must have been the days. But then the ships stopped coming, and there were less and less new keepers, and the others left looking for a better life.
Until, at last, the sea took most of it.
What else was there to do? There weren't enough people to live there, and nobody wanted to anyway. Not since the monsters started coming out of the sea. We wiped out most of them, but new ones showed up every now and then. Marg, our hunter, keeps an eye on the place. You can talk to him if you want. Depends on your idea of interesting. There's a weird statue with a gong, but I'm not sure how much of it is left. Other than that, probably just damp rubble. I don't know. Ask Marg. I'm pretty sure he just sits there all day instead of hunting. No wonder we've been eating nothing but fish.
I'm Captain Brandon's right hand. He deals with the serious matters I don't want to know anything about. I take care of our everyday life. Excalibur. You want to pull it out? Ha! That's a good one. Well, be my guest. If you think you can, go ahead. But unless you're King Arthur reborn, I wouldn't count on it. Just as I thought. If you have friends among the knights, you'll want to talk to the captain. But that's not happening anytime soon. Because I said so. What? Did you really expect that you could just enter our keep and head straight for the captain's quarters? There wouldn't be much point in having walls and guards here if anyone could just do that, would there? You've done your part in proving your worth. All right. You deserve the truth. You won't find the captain at the Horns of the South. He ordered us to lock down the keep, and then he disappeared. I have my suspicions about where he might be, but I can't say for sure. And frankly, I hope I'm wrong. I don't like your tone, my friend. But all right. I suspect he's at the All-Mother's Temple. But I will warn you. If he's not dead already, I'm pretty sure you'll be if you decide to go there. That's where the Dalriada tribes are holed up, and they're not known for their kindness. And if you do find the captain, tell him to return to the Horns of the South as soon as possible. Galahad the Pure is already on his way, and he won't be pleased to find a bunch of keepers hiding behind the walls without their commander. We'll all face consequences if that happens. If you need rest, you can sleep in the barracks. It's no royal chamber, but it's better to sleep under a roof than under the stars, right? Especially in this horrible weather.
If you're here to see the healer, don't bother. He's a quack and a butcher who likes to watch people suffer. And I mean it! He's a know-it-all from Camelot, but the truth is, he doesn't know shit.
All of those academic types think they're better than us village folk, just 'cause they read a book. We've been getting by just fine without any of their crap.
I came to him with a toothache, asked him to make me something for the pain, and you know what he did? He said my tooth is rotten, and then sent me to Osprey to get it pulled out. That, and I wouldn't trust him anywhere near my mouth. Don't get me wrong, Osbrit's a decent blacksmith, but he's no good with teeth. With one lad, it took him 3 tries before he got the right one. I'll stick to my grandma's potion for toothache. Or I would, if Heber would stop being such a dick and make it for me.
Heber took the recipe from me. And even if I had the recipe, I'm no good at mixing that stuff.
Said if I don't know how to make it, I shouldn't have it. And that he doesn't want some questionable homebrew medicine spreading through the keep. He says it's no good. Says that if I don't get the tooth pulled out, it'll keep hurting. I told him that's why I need the remedy, to make it stop hurting. But it's like talking to a brick wall. You will? Oh, you're a lifesaver. Tooth saver, yeah? No matter.
Oh, sorry. Do I know you? I'm terrible with faces. Either way, glad to make your acquaintance. I'm Jan Heber, a physician raised in Camelot and trained in the Royal Academy. Is some local witchcraft I've been trying to make sense of. I guess I'll find out when I try it. Experience is the best teacher. Don't worry, I'm not testing anything on the others. Graham the Mad, a great Camelotian physician, used to say that a real doctor would never give his patients something he hadn't tried on himself first. A wise approach, which I follow myself. What irony? Oh, that was unexpected. Here, take it. What will happen, I have no idea. But please, tell me, if you live to find out. The pursuit of knowledge is always dangerous. That's why it's reserved for only the bravest of the brave. It takes true guts to face the unknown, to realize just how little you know, and how insignificant you are to the world. I was classically trained in the proper art of medicine by the scholars of Camelot. The things they do here... They make no sense at all. Most of this stuff shouldn't even be effective, yet it seems to work wonders on these simple-minded, tough-bodied people here in the south. Shipments from Camelot are late, so I'm running low on supplies. If I'm not able to treat them, they'll start complaining. And Fergus doesn't like when people complain, especially when it comes to their health. He truly cares about them, I've got to admit. He doesn't care much about anyone else, though. I don't dream about anything anymore, so sleep feels like a waste of precious time. Fortunately, back in Camelot, I found a mix of remedies that can keep me awake for a whole week. It was quite popular in our study group. Oh no, every physician needs his secrets. But I can sell you some if you promise not to tell any of the higher-ups. There are side effects. You won't fall asleep for a while, but the moment you do, well, you'll feel like you died and came back to life, only to die again. So you either take the next dose, or endure it. I can endure it because I don't have a post to attend to. But our brave soldiers, well, that'd be risky. Well, they already trust my word, and I'll be sure to deny everything. Moreover, I'm in the position to raise my prices or to refuse to sell you medicine, whichever suits my mood. I'm honestly quite offended you're even asking. Healing diseases, sometimes cutting people open. Oh, and pulling out teeth seems to be a leading cause of concern for everyone around here. Me pulling teeth in the arse end of the world? My friends back in Camelot would laugh their brains out. Lanzo knows very well what he must do. I'm sorry, but there's nothing else I can do for him. Either he removes the tooth, or it will keep hurting. Yes, his grandma's miracle medicine. I honestly don't have time for village superstitions. I had to confiscate the recipe as well, lest he tries making it himself. As if I don't have enough problems already. No, I thought I made myself clear. If you want an excuse to drink yourself to oblivion on moonshine, just drink the moonshine. No need to add other potentially dangerous ingredients. Well, to be fair, the base recipe is pretty harmless. But what if someone decides that if they don't have carnation, it's perfectly fine to substitute it with devil's snare, since the color is more or less the same? Or sage with wolfsbane, because, you know, leaves are leaves. I'm sorry, but unfortunately I know these people well enough not to trust them with something like this. What? How do you... You know what? Fine. Do whatever you want. But if it causes you to shit yourself for 3 days straight, don't come running to me. Why would you, though? Don't you have better things to do? Well, if you're not in the mood for sharing, then I won't ask. You might have more success getting people to trust you with their personal matters if you were a little bit more forthcoming, you know? Aha, got it. So you're up for work not out of the goodness of your heart, but for your own selfish plans. Understood. It's a good reason. Well, I'd say it's better than most. But all right, if you're a mercenary, then I do have a job for someone who'd be willing to risk their life in exchange for material goods. Back at the Academy, I found an ancient scroll written by the Druids. Forbidden knowledge, especially now, after the mob forced them all into a wicker man and burned every last one of them to ash. I finally deciphered it a little while ago. It describes a ritual that needs to be performed at night within a stone circle. And guess what? There's one in the nearby forest. I guess you already know what I need you to do, hmm? That is an excellent question. But I don't know. From what I've been able to decipher, it's a summoning spell to bring something or someone to our world. That being will share its great knowledge with the one brave enough to summon it. I need you to remember what it says and repeat it to me after you're back, word for word. Isn't it obvious? I'm the only medic they have here at the Horns. I'd like to see Fergus's face if he hears about me going out there. And here I am, thinking that everyone's already heard about the Charred Conclave. Well, it wasn't the proudest moment in our history, that's for sure. You truly don't know. At some point, the villagers all around the island decided that the Druids were responsible for the Red Death, and all other ailments of our times. They rounded them all up in a massive wicker man north of the Forlorn Swords, and burned them all to ashes. Hundreds of years of knowledge gone within the blink of an eye. But, well, that's what's bound to happen when you stop paying for people's education and invest in keeping the elites fed instead. In Camelot, maybe, but this far south? Nobody cares. I've spent my entire life digging through scrolls and books in pursuit of their knowledge. I've been reading about their rites and the descriptions of their rituals. Look, I'm sure they were onto something. They knew much more than we do, but it feels like there's a veil wrapped tightly around that knowledge. It's like I need to find the right spell, the right ritual, something that will unwrap it for me.
You're back! How's the remedy?
Thank you! I'll finally be able to eat something.
Here, take this as my thanks for your help.
Good to see you again. The pledge today was very interesting, wasn't it? The certainty in Quartermaster Aymer's makes one eager to start work. Huh? Ah, yes, of course. So, what do you need this time? The pass again? Are we planning a trip to the Stale Lamb? Hey, not this time, my friend. I've run out of ink. I'm waiting for a delivery. Steward Orla will let me know when more arrives. In the meantime, I need to ask you for a favor. So, you in? For the sake of our long friendship? Orla. I'm sure I'm not mistaken. Anyway, about that favor I asked of you. I guess you still haven't sobered up, huh? The Stale Lamb. You know, the tavern in the village below the keep. It's run by Ron. Truly a great place. I hope they're not planning to close it down. Oh, they wouldn't do that, right? Just as we agreed. I appreciate that you remember. Holding one's tongue is the key to success. Keep it up. You do know it needs to stay between us. Do you understand? Say you understand. Fantastic. So, here's the thing. On a recent night out at Ron's, It seems I may have left some sensitive documents at the bar. Documents, with Captain Fergus' seal. But not necessarily sealed by him. You know what I mean. I can't really go there right now. Could you get them back for me? I'm sure it won't be too much of a problem. Splendid! When you have the documents, meet me at the third crowing of the rooster. Or just find me. I'll be around. You need something?
You all right, newbie? Have you been to see the refugees? I can't believe poor Cole was put in a cage. Hey, what a mess.
Cole came to us with a group of refugees from some nearby villages. They were looking for shelter from, well, everything that's been happening here. Bandits, the weirdness, the Del Reader, hunger. I was happy Fergus let them in and allowed them to stay. You'll meet them in the village. They live in the buildings up high.
Not long ago, though, Cole started acting very strange, erratic, sometimes even aggressive. One of our keepers, old Mahon, tried to calm him down. He might have used too much force, and Cole felt compelled to defend himself. He bit old Mahon. And since then, the old fool has been lying in the infirmary. Frankly, I think Mahon brought it on himself. They shouldn't have put that poor man in a cage. Wait, if you ever meet Treese, please give her those flowers. I know it's not much, but I'd like her to know she's not alone. I support her and the other refugees. And I'm sure there are more of us who do.
Just fine. You need something? Bloody seagulls! Can you hear me, you flying vermin? Just try landing here and I'll pluck your asses clean. A keep by the sea. What a great idea that was. And what do you want? I'm fixated. Me! Oh, you didn't see what they did to me a week ago. I was just standing watch as usual, and then, suddenly, splat. A dozen of them flying overhead, screeching, shitting and whatnot. So, I yelled what I think about them, shaking my fist. And then another 4, splat! And they kept screeching. I tell you, they're laughing at me. I spent all night cleaning my armor. Sewell didn't think it through when he decided where to put the keep, mark my words. Sure. If you haven't noticed yet, everything here tries to destroy you, including the bloody seagulls. I once managed to shoot a few. I thought they'd learned their lesson and wouldn't be flying over here anymore. And guess what they did? They kept shitting. With increased force. Like they're planning it. Vengeful scoundrels. I need to try a different strategy. Find something that will make them feel real terror. Like the way crows are afraid of scarecrows in fields. I'm sure seagulls also have something that scares them. We just need to find out what it is. Come on, have mercy. I'd have dealt with the damn creatures myself, but I don't have the time. They're not even good for anything. Less meat than a squirrel, and what's there is dry as a pilgrim's foot. I'm not asking a lot. I just need something to scare them off. Oh, thank you. I just need you to bring me some kind of a bird scarer. They'll learn their lesson and keep away from me. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's anyone crazy enough to take up something like this. There is one guy in the museum, Riderick. He's supposed to know everything. You scared me.
Welcome to the Museum of the Horns of the South, the southernmost keep under Camelot's jurisdiction. My name is Riderick, and I will be happy to introduce you to the rich history of this fascinating place. A history that began 623 years ago with the first keeper, Sewell Firstfoot. I'd also like to bring your attention to our numerous exhibits that are, as I like to say, inanimate witnesses of the history of the Horns of the South. It began in the year 542. It is the crowning achievement of a group of keepers who were fascinated with Sewell Firstfoot. It took them years of tremendous effort to finally open an institution devoted to research and education, worthy of commemorating Sewell's great legacy. The first keeper of the museum was Gladwin Flanagan, who was personally appointed by Captain Berach the Black. I don't doubt it, since Sewell Firstfoot was a remarkable figure, well known to every keeper. Drawing on available sources, we can claim with almost absolute certainty that Sewell Firstfoot was the first man who ever set foot on the island of Avalon. As you can probably guess, that's where his moniker, Firstfoot, comes from. Oh, of course. Sewell was an outstanding commander whose strategic mind, bravery, and charisma contributed to our capture of the South from the Four Dwellers. He was also the founder of the Horns of the South, so I can say with absolute conviction that if it were not for Sewell Firstfoot, we wouldn't even be standing here having this conversation. The museum holds a collection of 72 items of the so-called movable, tangible heritage. The collection includes big and small items that represent the world surrounding the keepers of the Horns of the South, from the 1st to the 6th century of the Avalonian era. Here you will find militaria, craft tools, everyday objects, furniture, textiles, coins, religious artifacts. I'd say all exhibits are worthy of your attention, but I could point you to the ones I personally think to be the most notable, or subjectively, of course, the most interesting. Those would be the items that used to belong to Sewell Firstfoot. We have his signal horn, and also his boots. Those boots were the first to touch Avalonian soil. What is also worth mentioning is the tableware used by King Arthur himself during his visit to the Horns of the South in the 15th year of the Avalonian era. Yes, it's remarkable, isn't it? You can find them in the central display. Sewell's boots were sewn from 3 pieces of tanned calfskin, tied at the top with a leather strap. The seam goes through the middle of the instep, which is decorated with ornamental embroidery. On the outer side of each shoe, you can find a decorative brass buckle with the motif of the Camelotian bear. It is notable that even after 600 years, they are still excellently preserved, which is unusual considering the high humidity in this area. It means that even the keepers of that time must have realized the historical value of Sewell's boots, and therefore made sure to adequately preserve them. It is indeed an interesting exhibit. The horn was used by Sewell during wartime, not only for signaling, but also for intimidation. It is 50 centimeters long and made of the horn of an ox. It is the color of yellowed bone, with some ash-gray discoloration on the narrow end. It has a brass mouthpiece and silver fittings on its wider side and at the middle. The shape of the fittings suggests that the horn was hanging on a leather strap, which unfortunately has not survived to this day. It's a memento of the visit of the legendary ruler of Avalon. Impressive, isn't it? The tableware is made of tin coated with silver. It consists of a plate, a bowl, and a chalice. The edges are decorated with the motifs of Camelot, a crown and a bear. However, those ornaments are of visibly low quality. That detail, and the fact that those are the only wares from that time that have survived to this day, leads us to conclude that this set was cast specifically for that occasion, and that it was finished by a person unfamiliar with this kind of craft, perhaps a blacksmith or an armorer. Really? Do you mean it? Thank you. That's really nice to hear. I'm not used to positive feedback. Usually people only come here when they've had too much to drink and decided that it'd be fun to come over and start mocking me, or touching the exhibits with their greasy fingers. The last person who seemed to actually be interested in the museum was Lady Elaine. We talked a bit about Captain Lex and the trip that ended tragically in the year 513. It was described in The last voyage of the Andraste. An interesting read, although I'd say it should be classified as fiction. Lady Elaine thought differently. Apparently she's looking for the wreck of the Andraste. Can you believe that? Definitely. Personally, I believe that people gifted with curious minds should share their observations, for there's always a chance it will result in new developments. You should find Lady Elaine in the tavern, or somewhere close to it. Good luck! I have to admit that local fauna is not one of my main areas of interest, but I do know the answer to this question, as it is rooted in the history of the Horns of the South. It used to be the case that a significant part of the daily catch was gobbled up by our troublesome coastal neighbors. So the keepers of that time found a very peculiar way to deal with the problem. Some of them, called the seagullers, scared off the coastal birds using specially constructed masks. They made them from feathers and pieces of tanned pigskin sewn together. The reason the gulls avoided these masks is unclear, but perhaps their peculiar shape reminded them of a natural predator?
Just another peaceful moment.
Oi, friend. A question. Do you know why people always stop and watch a blacksmith at work? Because he's riveting. It's good to see a new face in this sad hole.
Oh, of course. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Osbert, local master of hammers and anvils. Do you need your blade sharpened?
Ha! Friend, I wish. But the only task I could use help with might be a bit too delicate for you to handle.
Unless you're a master goldsmith, then feel free to prove it, and I'll have work for you immediately. There's just not enough of them to go around. And now that we're on lockdown, there's not much demand for my services either. Listen, I said I don't have any jobs, as in things I pay you for doing. That doesn't mean I can't teach you a thing or two. If you're willing to learn, that is. Since you're free to wander about while I'm stuck in the keep, maybe we can make good use of that. You've probably bashed in the skull of a beast or two, right? The alchemists. They're likely snatching up the corpses, using the muck to cook their weird concoctions. But perhaps you'd rather craft yourself some armor from those hides, huh? We should start with something simple. Let's see. I'll give you some notes on how to make armor. You gather the materials and get to work. And when you're done, you can bring it over so I can see what you've made. now. That's not half bad. Not half bad at all. Solid work, and you didn't skimp on the details. You've nailed the basics. So how about we try something a bit fancier, huh? I like it when things are quiet.
This feeling, it was so strong, so real. I remember now, the weight of it, the power. This blade was never just steel. It was a part of me. Yes, the sensation is unmistakable, but it carries more than my soul. It carries a part of my legacy. A sword like that, it doesn't yield easily. It demands strength of body and of will. You'll need to grow stronger before it will choose you.
I like it when things are quiet.
There you are! Finally! Do you have what I need? A mask? Eh? Are you sure? Ah, whatever, sod it. Now they'll get what's coming to them, damn rascals. You can go now. You're right! Here, take this. But don't think, even for a moment, that the struggle is over. We need more, much more, to finally rid ourselves of those blasted birds once and for all. Are you ready for the next step in our fight against the flying, shitting enemy? That's the spirit! In a war like this, every ally counts. Look, I've got the perfect seagull trap design right here.
You just need to make a few and set them up in some strategic spots, like this one. And those flying pests will surely get caught. We need to work smart. Go on then, and fight against the flying vermin.
Hey, you're heading to the village, right? Tiernan should let you in. Take this medicine to my father, will you? Goban is a loud man. You shouldn't have trouble finding him. I can't promise that talking to him will be any fun. Come to me afterwards.
Ah, he used to serve too. In fact, he was the builder before me. Now he's just an old fart angry at the world.
But a father is a father, right? We may hate each other, but as long as I can help him, I will. Hence, the medicine.
If Haber doesn't know, then I don't either. So we keep trying. Because he received orders not to let any keeper through without a pass. And I don't have one. I've already used mine. Guess what I used it on? That's right, bringing medicine to my father. When that Egypt gets an order, he's like a priest who stumbled into an orgy. He's got a stick up his ass. Nothing gets through him. Not all keepers have been here their entire life, you know? He got me before he joined the Horns. Serves me right for wanting to find him, stupid son of a bitch. If only I knew what it would entail. I don't know. Following my old man here was all I ever wanted. Never saw myself as anything else. Tried picturing myself as a husband, a father once. But, nah. I wouldn't know how to raise a kid. I'd just mess them up. Like father, like son, I guess. Well, no, of course not. We're not priestesses of the All-Mother. A woman can be an old crone and still devote herself to the All-Mother. But a man's got to have some fight left in him to be a keeper. Old enough to hold a sword, young enough to not break under its weight. We all got different roles around the keep, sure. But at the core, we're warriors. Don't forget that. If I had a gold coin for every time someone asked me that, I could fund the damned thing myself. Look, it's Camelot's orders. I get paid to follow them, not to question them. If they want to throw money at us to keep up appearances, that's their problem. I'm not about to stop them. Stay out of trouble.
Have mercy, not another one. If I let you pass, will you promise not to make any trouble? That's just my luck. Take the post, Tiernan, they told me. You'll be looking after a village full of old farts. That's practically early retirement, they said. What a load of crap. There's always something. If it's not the deck falling apart, it's a refugee running around biting people. No, not really. Fortunately. No need to tell me that.
But I can't just go back to patrolling the walls. I'd be a laughingstock. I'd rather sit here and hope everything works itself out. I mean, everyone's gotta die someday, right? So whether it's me or them, at least my problems will be over. Well, to be fair, he only bit one person. But it was a keeper. I know Mahone can be a piece of shit sometimes, but gods. Now both of them are sick. And Haber's got no clue what's wrong. Which is the only reason that refugee isn't dead. Yet. So, he's sitting in a cage. His wife's crying all day and everyone's pissed. Meanwhile, I'm stuck in the middle of it all. The deck? Nah. Just old wood. Honestly, it's the least of my problems. But I've got no way to fix it. Dara's always busy with his lighthouse, and every time I try to do it myself, someone else needs me for something. I can't even sneak out to the tavern because last time some rich bint started complaining that everything here smells of fish. That's a seaside village. What else would it smell of? You do that? That would be a huge relief. Well, maybe not huge. There are bigger problems, but it'd be a start. Truth be told, I don't know why they want it so badly. It's for boats. No one here even uses boats. But, well, you know how it is with old folks. Once they get fixated on something, there's no point in arguing. I'd pay if I could, but this was supposed to be my job. The budget's long gone. But if you're interested, I could teach you a thing or two about home decor. Not exactly standard keeper knowledge, but, well, we all have our secrets. Surprised? Can't blame you. This might sound odd coming from someone stationed in a glorified fish bucket, but I've got a thing for furniture. The only thing more mismatched than the barracks around here is my career choice. But, yeah, I like imagining places where things fit. Where chairs don't wobble. Tables don't look like someone hacked them together with a dull axe, and beds. Well, beds don't feel like they're plotting your murder while you sleep. Not exactly a secret I broadcast. Most folks see me as Tiernan the Grumbler. But, hey, we've all got something that keeps us sane, right? Mine just happens to be daydreaming about nicer chairs. Oh, she's a real piece of work, that one. Her name's Lady Elisa... something. I don't remember. She came here with her husband. Poor man. I never heard him get a word in. You know, sometimes I regret not getting married. But if I had a wife like her, I'd just end up being a keeper all over again. See you around.
What do you want? To gawk at the beast? Well, I'll have to disappoint you. My Cole is not the monster you all believe him to be. So you really don't know? If you're not from here, I'm not sure what could have brought you to this hellhole. But you have my sympathies. Just know that Cole isn't like that. Something is poisoning his mind and soul. I don't know what it is, or why it happened to Cole, but now we're all at the mercy of those damned keepers. One evening there was a quarrel between our group, the villagers, and one of the keepers. They'd had a bit too much to drink and let some comments slip. They hurled insults at us, saying there's no place for us here, that we should just get the hell out of here because things are hard for everyone. Hard? Sure. I bet that bunch of wimps wouldn't last a week outside. All they do is sit in that keep of theirs, thinking they're the defenders of justice. Well, Cole went mad. I've never seen him like that before. He attacked that keeper and bit him. It was serious, but the keeper survived. If it weren't for the other men from the village, things could have ended very differently. Afterwards, they chained Cole up and locked him in a cage. His condition started to worsen. They said a monster like him doesn't deserve a jail cell. Jail cells are for humans. Bastards. Surprising, isn't it? It seems that Quartermaster Fergus banned any kind of vigilante behaviour. And the local healer said he wants to make sure whatever made Cole this way isn't contagious. So as long as that question remains unanswered, we're at a standstill. But honestly, if anything happens to that keeper, I have no doubt Cole will be killed and will be thrown out of the keep. This might sound silly, but before we reached the keep, we came near a strange structure. The locals call it the Arch Spire. In the morning, we realised everyone had a strange dream, but it was a little different for each of us. Cole started acting weird after that, and in time, it only got worse. No, only that, well, he didn't make much sense, but he was convinced that something bit him. He kept checking. It must have been some bug. Something changed by the weirdness. That must have caused his fever, his insanity. Well, it was pretty typical. We started a fire and threw some cobwebs into it. Fran brought them back from one of his treks. That boy could always find them somehow. It was our protection from the night and the weirdness. Ellis was on watch that day, but from what he told us, he eventually fell asleep. We were lucky no one slit our throats. I was in a strange place. Dark, full of fog, eerie. I was trying to find him. I called out, but no one answered. I was alone in the night, and then I kept falling, and falling, and falling. And then I woke up. We set up camp near the Arch Spire. We hoped that bandits wouldn't dare to venture into a place like that. Well, now I know why we could have been right. With everything that's been happening lately, I'm ready to believe in every strange thing in this world.
Oh, right. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Beatrice. As for me and Cole, well, we left Ree hoping to find a quiet place to rest for a bit.
We planned to travel the King's Road toward Camelot. Well, here we are. We found our bloody Camelot. Cole is locked up and all I can do is shed bitter tears.
Yeah, we grew up there. The village was built around a trade route. My parents ran a tavern that stood right by the road.
We had a good life. We lacked for nothing. Well, that was before the damned grubwood started spitting out monsters.
Then more and more caravans disappeared into the forest. People were telling stories that grew more horrifying by the day. In the end, taking that route meant certain death. The same thing that will happen to every place on this god-forsaken island. Ruin. We used to have generous clientele. Merchants and emissaries from all over Avalon. They had deep pockets, always left lots of gold. But That changed. Then our only income came from the villagers, who were getting drunker and poorer by the day. That was always our plan. Col and I never wanted to stay there forever. Beatrice and Cole from the village of Ree, that wasn't us. Yeah. I doubt I'll ever see him again. I don't think there's anything worth going back for. Each of us has a different story. Some wanted to seek their fortune elsewhere, like me and Cole. Some had to flee their homes because of bandits pillaging their villages, or because of the weirdness. Ree could be one of those places by now. There's so much turmoil in this world. People can suddenly lose themselves, becoming a danger to those they once loved. 2 or 3 weeks ago, things were starting to get difficult. The supplies we brought with us were running low. A larger group of people is always helpful. There's always someone to talk to and share the work with. But it also means more mouths to feed and more worries to deal with. It's not easy. What? What? How dare you? Do you know the meaning of those flowers in that configuration? Revenge. Revenge, deception, and death. There's nothing nice about it, and I don't know if he did it on purpose or if he's just an idiot. But trust me, it's not a nice gesture. Thank you. For them. You are from nowhere, just like me. That's why I believe you. Take those flowers away, burn them, throw them in a cauldron, whatever. I don't want to look at them. Be careful out there.
Bloody hell, look at this! The old place is in a shambles. Bunch of decrepit old coots. They do nothing but shuffle around, stare at walls, and sleep under leaking roofs. Can't even hammer a nail properly. I'm telling you, if I was still working here, this place wouldn't be falling apart. But I'm not. Oh, shite. I can't even stand to look at it, let alone live here. And who are you? What you want? You another one of the... I bloody knew it. Retirement my arse. It's shit. Never a moment of peace. At least when I was still working, there was always something to do. Now... So, what you want? One day, my boy got it into his stupid head that old Gaban is here. Bullshit! They're all telling me I should do something about it, or else I'm done for. I'll be dead as a doornail in no time. Ha! Like hell I will. I'm still here, ain't I? I've served my time. I've lived me life. And now you can all kiss my arse. So there. Listen, they wanted Heaver, that healer from the keep, to come here. He did. They wanted him to look me over. He did. Then he just threw up his hands, mumbled something to himself, and that was it. Hell, I should have been an healer. Wouldn't mind going around being a pain in everyone's arse for a living. These herbs. No idea what they're for. Heber said he doesn't know what's wrong with me, so there's no illness. I'm fit as a fiddle. Good thing that at least the one guy who hangs around, Finley's the name, doesn't nag me all the time. right. He'd better focus on his job. Why the sudden interest? Maybe if you bring me a drink, I'll humor you. So, what was your question?
Hold on. Finley is not my caregiver. He's my helper at most.
Hey, first of all, I'm not a cripple who needs a decrepit dimwit running round after me.
Secondly, do you know the problem with having a helper who's mute? He doesn't bloody talk.
I mean, it's not all bad. At least I don't have to listen to even more bullshit. He puffs up like a marshmallow every time he tries to say something. But I don't understand shit. What's with all the questions? Get me a drink and maybe I'll consider talking. So, what was your question?
That's what he says anyway. But yeah, he's my blood. Eager like me, and look at that bulbous nose. Won't disown what's clearly mine. But I ain't gonna talk with a stranger. It's like half the blighters here don't have working peckers. Or they've never even touched a woman.
Getting a bit too interested, aren't you? Bring a drink over, and I might share. So, what was your question?
You see, back in the day, being a keeper was a serious business. Now, don't even get me started. You used to come here with a mission, not to run away from your bloody mother.
Nowadays, lads get brought here by their own kin when they've had enough of them, or they think the Orns can hide them from the law.
No, back in my day, there was none of this scum. I came here to serve. My girl cried when I left her, but I've always known this is where I wanted to be. How was I supposed to know she had a bloody bun in the oven? By the time the wean was born, I was already planning the lighthouse's construction. Eck knows what he came here for. That's not my problem anymore, and I don't stick my nose in anyone else's business.
Why the sudden interest? Maybe if you bring me a drink, I'll humor you. So, what was your question? I'm starting to like you, stranger. And trust me, it's been a long time since I liked, well, anybody. I liked me brothers in arms back in my glory days. Good lads, every damn one of them. Tough as nails, loyal to a fault. The kind of men you'd want beside you in the darkest holes of Avalon. But they're gone now, all of them. The old captain got it in his head to send us down to rediscover some mouldy tunnels under the keep. Damn fool mission that was. We went in together, but I was the only one to come back out. I can still see all their faces when I close my eyes. A hard loss it was, but I'm still here. Some days I wonder why. Getting a bit curious, I see. Hand me a drink, and I'll answer. Maybe. So, what was your question? Those tunnels, right. Well, me and the lads went down there to check if we could repurpose them under the Orns. Damn fool mission that was. But here wasn't just some empty caves. There were monsters, straight out of Age of Legends. Sick stuff. Stuff that get under your skin. Looked like... Ah, hell. Memory's all twisted up now. Like a bloody nightmare mixed with shadows that don't belong. Want to know more? Speak with Fergus. He's in charge of this shit show now. Now, I propose a toast to those lost souls. This one's on me. Feast, you say? Problem is, sometimes I think they never died. They haunt me in my dreams, you know? Bloody bastards. I swear I wanted to go back and retrieve their bodies. The Hourlake captain, like Grindelows piss on his grave, forbade me from going back. But when I drink, I usually pass out, and then I don't remember my dreams. So, I drink. The brothers deserved better.
Beer from Kunacht, wine from Farshire, moonshine, only local, the best there is. And fish, lots and lots of fish. What's your poison? No, I don't recall anything like that. No, listen. I don't know what's going on, but I doubt any of the keepers had anything important on them. Half of them couldn't tell the quartermaster's seal from a pile of horse dung someone stepped on. But that means... no. Impossible. What if... Holy moonshine. I remember. Sigibald. It was Sigibald who left those documents behind. I've no idea how you found out about it. Sigi. He's dead. Taken by a fever. Aye, of course I have. I didn't just throw them in some cabinet. I was afraid they'd fall into the wrong hands. He was a good man. I wouldn't get rid of my only memento of him. Here, after what you said, I assume you'll make good use of them. Even though I'm still not sure what to think about it. Things are getting weirder and weirder in our beloved Avalon. Well, he died like he lived, with a tankard in his hand. The boys always said Sigi was a friend worth 5 others. And he was. He was a prankster like no other. Once, he slipped a rotten egg into the quartermaster's dinner. Never a dull moment with him, that's for sure. No problem. Listen, if by some miracle you really talked with Sigibald, please, Give him my warm regards. I don't understand anything anymore. You mean the old pier? Well, first of all, it's not that old. Brenadin was already the captain when it was built. Why is it called that? Don't know. Probably because of all those old folks around. A lot has been happening here lately. Plenty of new faces. I definitely can't complain. I'm finally running a proper tavern. People come and go, and the regulars drink as usual, as it should be. Daddy will be proud. Hey, not here, obviously. You won't see your old man here unless your name's Dara. Mine sent me here because he hoped I'd make something out of my life. He never wanted me to pour a beer and look at the same tired mugs day in, day out, but as it turns out, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I got mauled by a weird beast during a hunt, and after that, the captain decided I wasn't any good for active service, so he sent me here. I was bored out of my mind, and since there wasn't one here, I decided to start a tavern. At least I'm not as bored anymore.
Who are you? Another refugee? This place is already crawling with your lot. It's like a Camelosian privy after a feast. In my day, you only saw old, familiar faces round here. And maybe we didn't all love each other, but a local is a local. It was easier to share with others, even when you didn't have much. That's so. Fine. Whatever you say. But yeah, I could see that you don't really look like one of them. Just pass them through then. Shame it had to be now. Not so long ago, we'd have sat down and had a drink with the rest of the lads. Now I come here alone.
You see anything interesting around here? There's this tavern, and plenty of fish in the sea. Decent place to retire, but not much else. Well, if you're looking to sightsee, try the sunken village. Just don't let the locals tear you to shreds. Orderly. No damn rabble begging at the gates and eating us at a house and home. Yeah, back then, sure, civilians came and went. But housing them, feeding them? We had a rule. No freeloading. But I guess that went out the window, along with our pride. It used to mean something to be a keeper. You could come in off the streets and keepers would make a man out of you. Now, bunch of spoiled lordlings sold off to Brandon by their daddies for a bag of gold. Treated like they're made of glass. Soft. Weak. The lot of them. What's there to be proud of? You watch your damn mouth. We did everything we could. I've said it before. We need a whole damn army to keep this region in check. And besides, how do you know these leeches are even telling the truth? Every village wiped out. Just like that? Give me a break. I don't want to talk about it anymore. You asking me? They came here and made themselves at home. I ain't talking to any of them. I don't know. But you could put something on the table, and then maybe we can talk. Thank you. That's better. We used to come here, the three of us. Me, Berg, and Fenley. But lately, something's gotten into Berg, and it all kinda fell apart. Hell knows what happened. One day he just stopped talking to us. We went to his house to get him, but he only cursed a blue streak at us. Say, mate, do you feel like talking to an old obla? I feel bad for him, but I've got no more patience. And Finley? Let's just say Finley's no good at this stuff. Now you're talking. Ever since he got so maudlin, Berg usually sits alone by the sea. Let me know what's wrong with him.